Hello and welcome to our show. I'm Deanne Goss. If you spend any amount of time researching hormones, hormone health, or hormone imbalance, you're going to come across the term estrogen dominance. Well, what is estrogen dominance? Where does it come from? How do we detect it? And most importantly, how do we beat it? Today we're joined by our special guest and hormone expert, Jackie Harvey. Jackie Harvey is the author of naturalhormoneguru.com, which is a culmination of her passion to help women everywhere achieve wellness and health. Now, before Jackie was a hormone guru and hormone expert, she was an accountant. She was a wife and a mother to 7 wonderful children. But one day when her body began to betray her and traditional medicine suggested surgery, she knew there had to be a better way, and God took her on a different direction. She firmly believes that that direction saved her life, her daughters' lives, and the lives of countless other women. One of my favorite parts about Jackie Harvey's story is the fact that she worked alongside best-selling author and world-renowned hormone expert, Dr. John Lee. And Dr. John Lee has been one of the world's foremost experts in hormone health. She had the privilege of working with him. And while she was working with him, she was able to develop a natural hormone balancing program that helps balance hormones and maintain that balance. Through this process, she has become an ardent supporter of saliva testing, which is the #1 way to measure hormones. I'm so excited to have her today because not only is Jackie an expert in all of these areas and in hormone health, she's actually a very personal friend of mine and my hormone mentor. Jackie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Deanne. Thanks for having me.
Jackie, today we're talking about estrogen dominance. That is a term that seems to be getting a lot of notoriety lately, yet there seems to be some confusion about it. So in simple terms, could you explain to us what is estrogen dominance?
Well, first of all, Deanne, estrogen dominance has really been a term that's been around for a long time. Dr. Lee coined it back in 1994. Amazing. And so when you say it's just getting traction now, I'm very amazed, to say the least. Now, he coined the term estrogen dominance. He was the first person that talked about estrogen dominance, and he would say things like, estrogen dominance always means progesterone deficiency. He would say things like, when a woman is estrogen dominant, she's going to develop tremendous symptoms and not feel well. I've been reading recently that there are doctors that say that women can develop estrogen dominance in their 30s, and it will continue on throughout their lifetime. And I know that that's a concern for a lot of women.
What are some of the symptoms or the signs of estrogen dominance?
Sure, and the doctors are saying that these signs and symptoms are starting early. So women in their 30s and 40s, not just menopausal women in their 50s and 60s, they'll start to see these symptoms. So some of them will be perhaps starting with hot flashes and night sweats. Night sweats will start with women in the early years, and then they will develop into hot flashes if they are estrogen dominant. They'll start having sleep issues. They won't be able to sleep through the night. Insomnia will be a problem. They might feel like they're losing their minds because their memory will go, and their family might not like them a lot because they'll start developing mood swings, almost the way it was when we were teenagers. Fatigue could be a serious issue because the adrenals might be involved. Certainly weight gain will be a problem, and women will start to notice that rearing its ugly head probably in the mid-40s. Things like breast swelling and breast tenderness, which go with the menstrual cycle, will also be signs and symptoms of estrogen dominance. Irregular periods, the whole thing that goes with that. Low sex drive, women won't like that very well. Probably the men won't like that very much. But for women, that will ebb and flow, to say the least. And certainly anxiety and brain issues, cognitive concerns, when they think that they're losing their minds. All of those are symptoms of estrogen dominance. Covers just about every organ in the body. You know, it involves like the thyroid, it involves skin, it involves the brain, it involves our heart, it involves our bones, it involves our uterus and ovaries. Of course, we would understand that, and it involves our adrenals. I mean, it covers a cross section of all of the organs and systems in our body.
Why is it important to have a balance between estrogen and progesterone?
Dr. Lee talked about progesterone, probably as the first doctor who did, as the balancing hormone to estrogen. So it's important to keep in mind that estrogen is a proliferative hormone. It causes cells to grow and to multiply and divide. And so if it's not kept in check by progesterone, then estrogen will just continue to cause cell proliferation. Now, estrogen is supposed to cause cell proliferation in the uterus. That's what creates the nice thick lining for the menstrual cycle. But it is progesterone that caused the shedding of that lining. So always these two hormones worked in balance. It's interesting to note in our tissues and in our cells, both estrogen and progesterone are found together. So Dr. Lee kept saying, balance, balance, balance. Now, even today, I'm not convinced that the average physician knows about balance.
Well, is there any way to know for sure if someone is estrogen dominant?
Well, certainly, absolutely. In fact, we're so fortunate today because we have many tools and things that help us. Certainly, understanding the symptoms, going through a symptoms list like I've just mentioned, very important. And that will be the first sign maybe that a woman is kind of thinking that she's estrogen dominant. We do saliva testing, and as you said, I'm a huge advocate. Saliva testing is putting the test results into the hands of the person who really is the most concerned about it. And so I think that doing a saliva test would probably be a very good first step for most women who suspect that they have estrogen dominant symptoms.
Well, we already know that most women are estrogen dominant, at least to some extent. And most of us are just too busy to try and figure this all out. So is there anything that we can do?
Well, again, it will start with a saliva test. And then I think, you know, most women are able to do this themselves. It will involve always good nutrition, and it will always involve some supplementation and perhaps using some bioidentical hormones. So they're along with this, and keeping on doing an evaluation, keeping sort of a consistent saliva testing regime over the years. I personally do a saliva test every year. And so I'm monitoring my own hormone levels. And this is kind of a gift to women today, just to be able to do that. There's lots of information available. We have lots of information on our website. And I would just encourage women, you know, get educated, start testing, figure it out in advance if you can, before you become estrogen dominant. Have a baseline, a saliva test baseline would be very, very excellent. But certainly there's lots of things that we can do ourselves.
Okay, Jackie, I can hear some of our viewers now. Great, another complicated and expensive program. How do I know this really and truly works?
Well, number one, we evaluate it with a saliva test before you start, and then you would go on a program, and within 3 months should see some pretty good changes. At 6 months, you do another test. And we often see hormone challenges resolve in about a 6-month period. I know women want it to turn around yesterday, but I often say that for every year that a woman's had a problem, she needs to take a month to resolve those issues. And so making sure that you're consistent with a program, and if you don't have a program, ask, we'll help. We'll offer to help for sure.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Well, there you have it. Estrogen dominance is a huge problem for most women, but it doesn't have to be. I encourage you to do what I did. Take the test, follow the program, and experience the results. It's been nearly 5 years since I failed my first saliva test, but I'm happy to say that by following the program, my hormones are still in balance, and I feel great, and it takes less than 1 minute a day. So for less than what most people spend on coffee, you too can enjoy the benefits of balanced hormones, clearer thinking, more energy, better sex, and so much more. I encourage you to go to MaxxAlive.com and get started on your journey. We're here to help you every step of the way. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Thank you for watching this MaxxAlive video. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and when you do, hit the bell to be notified every time a hot new video is dropped. Also, log on to MaxxAlive.com to get more information about our natural, proven, and guaranteed program.